Hey, Mrs. Kimball here for Kids Cook Real Food and the Healthy Parenting Connector. And for the first time ever, I get to interview some kids here. Our goal is always to connect parents who really want to raise healthy, independent kids with the experts who have the information they need. So I'm very proud to introduce some experts today. My son, Paul, and his friends, Anthony, Katie, and Abigail, who are published cookbook authors, which is so cool. I've gotten to listen in on like podcasts and news spots they've been doing. They're just doing incredible things in this quarantine. And the book officially publishes today when this episode airs, but we know that people have been getting the book, which is pretty cool. Welcome, friends. It's so good to have you here.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, the book is called Chef Junior, right there. And I just want to start out with the fun part. Like, what was it like seeing your book on Amazon for the first time? What like big kind of whoa moments did you have? And have you seen pictures on social media already of kids enjoying it? Abigail?
Yeah. Well, my moment when I saw it on Amazon was like, I kind of just froze for a second. I didn't really even realize that it had actually happened. And my mom walked into the room and she was like, yeah, your book's on Amazon, kind of like nonchalant. And I was like, oh, okay, kind of copying her mood. And then I looked and I was like, what the heck? This is pretty crazy. And yeah, I don't know. It's been really cool.
It has. Paul, I was a little bit just kind of sprung it on you too, because I was so surprised to see it on Amazon.
Yeah.
What were your big moments of like, whoa?
Well, it was actually before school. My mom called me into the office here. It was like, it looks like your book's on Amazon. It was like, whoa. And then I was off to school. And I was like, not focusing on school because I was like, wait, is my book on Amazon? Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool. Now, Katie, I know that your parents did a little, they made it a little more special other than like, hey, whoa, look at this. Tell us what it was like the first time you got to see it up there.
Yeah, for me, my parents, I had no idea, and they took me out on the back deck, and Mom was holding her computer all secretive, not showing me, with a smile like, you're going to love this, but I'm not going to tell you. And so I just sat there for a minute thinking, what's going on? What happened? And then she spins it around, and I see my cover, and at first I'm thinking, no way. No, I mean, this is crazy. I'm not a published author, but it was really amazing because we had worked on it for so long and put so much effort into it that it was really awesome to finally see it done.
You said the word so long, and just to be clear, folks, this was 4 years from inception to finish. It was this month, the month of May 2016, that we first started saying, what if the kids published a cookbook? Like, it was one of those random things that just came up. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But Anthony, how about you? Did you have any wild moments, either when you saw it on Amazon or saw the proof, or just like, whoa, I'm an author moment?
My on Amazon moment wasn't that memorable, but I think that my mom sent me a link and I saw it and it was kind of cool. It was sort of, this is a dream. Nope, gonna go back to bed. Kind of that kind of moment for me.
So what's really special about this book, other than it being written by kids, which is already super special, but cookbook by kids for kids, is that we're finding it really fills a need and a hole that people didn't have access to before. Can you guys tell us a little bit about what sets this book apart from other kids cookbooks and like kids cooking videos on YouTube with all their sprinkles and cake pops? Paul, why don't you start this one?
So the big thing is that it's all healthy recipes. So they're kid-friendly recipes with like 3 skill levels from beginner to advanced, but they're all healthy and they all use real food ingredients. And over 80 out of the 100 recipes are gluten-free, and most of them are totally allergy-friendly as well.
Which is such a gift for families. And Katie, I know you write about some allergy substitutions. Tell us why that's important for you and for other families out there.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of families. I've always struggled with allergies, and I just remember, like, my friends would be having a birthday party, and I wouldn't be able to eat any of the cake or any of the treats because they had gluten in them. And so I always kind of felt a little left out. And I know it's really important to be able to not feel like you just can't enjoy any of the things that maybe you've never been able to enjoy, or maybe you used to, which is kind of worse in a way, because you know what it feels like to have those things. And it's really important to be able to still enjoy them and enjoy food while still keeping your body healthy.
Yeah, so Katie wrote a chapter on like how to make substitutions and swaps for kids, which is awesome and empowering. But also most if not all of Katie's recipes and a number of others are gluten-free, they're dairy-free. We've even got breads, right? Katie, what are the flavors of your like pourable gluten-free breads?
So I just have a kind of regular one, but then I also have a cinnamon raisin bread that is also allergy friendly.
Yeah, because as you know, I mean, if you have a gluten allergy, you can't always just make the swap. It doesn't always work. So it's such a gift. And thank you, Katie, and all the rest of you for these families. It's such a gift to be able to open a book and go, I can make that one with no changes. Oh my gosh, I can make that one with no changes. Oh my gosh, I can make this one with no changes. Like, it's especially in the realm of kids' cookbooks. That's so special and so important. And I feel like there are even other things, but my brain's blanking right now. Tony or Abby, do you guys want to share anything else about like what you love about the book or what you're seeing people love about the book?
Something that I really love about the book is that it's not only assuming that all kids know how to use the kitchen and know how to do simple things. Like, we have things in there like how to crack an egg and how to measure, how to use measuring spoons. Like, not everybody knows that stuff. And so we try not to assume that they do. But then we also have things for more advanced cooks so that they don't feel like they're doing super easy stuff in the kitchen, so they can challenge themselves as well.
Yeah, I loved these kids all did an interview with HR Mom, and her mission is just to teach families that kids can do more than parents think they can. Kids are super capable and they should take ownership and responsibility in things. And she just kept saying, this is a real deal. Like, these are real recipes that are not always, they're not incredibly easy, and it's not, just ask your parent to do this hard part or whatever. So we know that you guys are already impressing people out there. Anthony, what do you love in the book, or certain recipes or certain categories?
I just love how there's so many different skill levels and so many different ranges of recipes. I think we did that really well to where pretty much anybody can open the book up and find something that they want to make pretty much instantly. I think that's really amazing. And I think having 5 authors really helped with that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm already seeing, like I said, people on social media saying, we've posted it all the way through. We have so many recipes we're making, and people are already sharing pictures of recipes they've made. I don't know if you saw that one, Katie, but someone was making your blender bread, and I was like, that's great. But Anthony, you make a good point with the 5 authors. That's a neat little twist where if someone starts trying recipes and they say, oh, like, I'm kind of Will's California style, I'm going to focus on his recipes, or, oh, I love Katie's allergy friendly recipes. Then you can kind of like fall in love with one author at a time too and cook through their stuff. So I think that's really, really fun. One of my goals on this interview is to do what HR Mom does, to show parents that you kids are so much more capable than sometimes we think. And so just to be clear, right now, the kids are 12 to 15, but subtract 4 years, like, oh my goodness, you guys were 8 to 11 when this whole idea came up, and you did the cookbook proposal, and you had to work through real life skills, like real adult things and problems. So we've talked about like all the fun and exciting parts. So let's dig a little bit into the problems. What did you guys see that were big bumps in the road in the process? Abigail?
Well, one of our biggest problems was communication. We're not all used to like communicating with people and making like big projects work and carrying out deadlines and things. And since we're all kind of in our own corners of the world, we kind of just do our own thing. And that's what happened. We had up to 3 people making the same or very, very similar, the same or very, very similar recipes. And we didn't even notice until the photographer came to us and couldn't get pictures for them. So that was a big bump.
Yeah, I remember we had like multiple smoothies with really similar ingredients, multiple pancakes with really similar ingredients. Anthony, can you speak to how you solved that problem? Because that kind of got personal.
Yeah, I think for what we did is we looked at like who put the most work and effort into the recipe and like whose we thought would be the best for the book as a whole. And then we took that and then we agreed most of the time. I mean, sometimes that didn't resolve it, but we tried to figure out whose did we think was going to be better. And then we both tried to stick with it.
Did you have any of yours cut out, Anthony?
I definitely did. I don't remember specifically which ones, but I think I had a couple copies with Abby, I think. Like, no, we both had a French toast.
But you
they
got
were
to
pretty
keep
close.
yours stayed. I think I'm surprised you don't remember the ones you cut out because I remember mine. They're like my babies. I had to cut my babies out. It's really sad.
What did you have to cut, Abigail?
I had to cut out, I think I had a date recipe I had to cut out. I had to cut out my French toast. I made a smoothie one. It was like a funky monkey one. And those are my favorite kinds of smoothies. And I had to cut that one out. There's a lot.
Yeah, it was wild. Yeah, because Will has a funky monkey smoothie. And then I know, Paul, you lost on the pancakes, right?
Yeah, banana pancakes. Nope. Maybe a lentil soup. And I think also
Oh, yeah.
baked oatmeal.
Right.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize I stole that much from you.
That's fine.
So the good news is all those recipes are still in the book, just by different authors than the ones who lost. It just means that, kids like similar stuff, which is great. It just, the best recipe is in there in the best way. And the kids worked really hard to make their recipes the best. I know that they had friends and family in person testing, and Abigail and Paul worked with people, you guys from my audience. I want to say when we sent like one email to Kids Cook Real Food members and said, hey, does anyone want to like recipe test for these kids? Like 400 people got on the list and we went, oh my gosh, we can't, we don't need that many. So tell us a little bit, Paul, about working with these recipe testers.
Yeah, first of all, it was a lot of fun. Most of them gave us like such great feedback. And we originally had space for like 5 recipes in our spreadsheet to put them in and like what level of feedback, if they gave good feedback or bad feedback. We actually had to add 1 or 2 because some families were so good that we sent them like 6 recipes to test. But also, I learned that some adults don't always like answer their emails or do the recipes they say they're going to do and give feedback on. So it was a life lesson because I don't want to be one of the people that doesn't do what I say I'm going to do.
Yeah, we had to talk about grace. I remember you coming to me saying, like, people are missing their deadlines. Like, they said they'd try a recipe by Wednesday, and it's Friday. Like, what's going on, Mom? I'm like, life. Like, people have really good intentions, but sometimes they forget to open their emails. Sometimes, kids get sick or like the meal plan changes. So it was a view into the adult world. I probably pulled you over and said, look at my inbox. It's a scary, scary place. Like sometimes I lose track of things, even things that I really care about. But yeah, so many testers gave like really long, detailed feedback, everything from how it tasted to what it felt like to go through the process of the recipes. Katie, did you have to make any big edits in your recipes that people said, oh, like this is confusing, and you had to figure that out?
Yes, definitely. When I sent out one of my recipes, it's actually in the book now, but it was my Mediterranean chicken. Half the people really liked it and half the people thought it was the worst thing ever.
Oh no, did that hurt your feelings?
No, because, well, a little bit because some of them I was really good friends with, but it was really good feedback, and I tweaked it until almost everybody liked it. Even though not everyone will always love your recipe, you can make it so that the majority do.
That is also a fantastic life lesson of just like not getting too invested in your first draft. I remember when I was in high school, the teachers, English teachers would always have this poster like, don't fall in love with your first draft. And I was always like, but it's good. Why not? Like, why should I edit anything? So the process of editing and like continuing to make changes and letting go of yourself in that it takes a lot of patience and perseverance. So that, I mean, that's just such good life skills. Do any of you remember, because originally the book was supposed to have 80 recipes. So I think you each had a weird number like 16. And then right at the end, like everything was supposed to be done. Everything was turned in. We'd kind of close the book on like making and testing and find out. They go, oh, we need 20 more. And we want a bunch of kid-friendly recipes. We want mac and cheese. We want pizza. We want burgers. Like, do any of you remember getting that email and going, what was your reaction to that?
I was just like, I was just kind of a little bit peeved at the time. I had done all this work, and then they were like, yeah, so we just need more and on a short deadline, and that's how it's just gonna be. And I was like, what? But I mean, it was kind of nice because I got to try out some more kid-ish recipes. Like my family, we eat like very, I don't know, we don't eat kid staple kind of stuff. So it was kind of nice to try those out and see how it would be to make them. And I do think it made the book a little bit more well-rounded, but at the time I was pretty peeved.
Yeah, it was a huge like wrench in the process. I know, Anthony, I think you had to contribute at that point, maybe mac and cheese and the burger. How was that for you going back into the kitchen and starting over with new recipes?
Yeah, it was definitely kind of weird just having to because I felt like I was done and then having to add more because I had to do, I think, fish sticks and a burger and then a couple more that weren't as important. I think those were the two main ones, and it was just weird.
Okay. And Abigail, you guys, your family travels the world regularly for months at a time. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you were in a foreign country and you didn't have access to a lot of ingredients, right?
Yeah, I was in France, and a lot of the ingredients from like North American recipes I couldn't get. They have great food there, but French food. So so I don't think this made it into the book, but I did make like crepes and some stuff with my French toast. I made it with like baguettes and stuff. But yeah, I just used what I had there, and I did my best.
Mm-hmm. It's hard when a recipe that you had to work hard on didn't make it into the book. Like I can hear your tone of voice change a little bit. That didn't make it in.
Yeah.
It is really hard. Well, let's sort of end at the beginning because I forgot to have you all tell the story of how this came about and how you all met. Paul, did you want to take that one?
Yeah. All of our parents have online businesses, so we came together twice a year. So that the parents could help each other with their businesses, and the kids kind of hung out. And then in the second one, we made a breakfast for the adults, and so one of them who had written a book before was like, "You should write a cookbook," and we were like, "Yeah, we should write a cookbook, yeah." And we were like, "No, that can't happen." And then we like go home, and a couple months later, they us a script for this proposal video that we're going to do. And so, we do that and send it off. Who knows where it goes? They do. We don't. But, and then like a year later, we get this message like, you have a book deal. And it's like, wait, what book deal? Because it had been so long. And then we had to write a cookbook suddenly.
Mm-hmm. I can't even remember where we were. Does anyone remember where you were when your parents told you that the proposal had finally been accepted? You do, Katie? Tell us about it.
I was in my last house here in Florida, and I remember I was out playing with some of my friends. I had just been running hard, so I was like all out of breath, and Dad came outside and just stood there waiting for me and calling me over, and I was like, okay, what happened? And so I run over, and he's like, hey, why don't you sit down? And Mom comes out. And I'm like, okay, this is starting to freak me out. And so I'm sitting there, and I have like my legs crossed, and I'm like still all red from running. And then they're like, your proposal was accepted. I'm like, what? What? And then they repeat it several times, and then I get it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no way. No. That's impossible, but whoa.
Yeah, your parents are so beautiful at like creating that moment for you. I think we might have been traveling for spring break. Paul, and we had to figure out how, like, we didn't have printers and stuff. We were like, oh, we don't even know how to figure out how to like sign this contract. And I probably said something like, Paul, your summer just got planned. Because it was like, I think it was like spring break, proposal accepted, and then August 1st or something was the deadline to have it all done. And we were like, that's really quick. That's really quick. So yeah, it was a summer of hard work. We were just watching that proposal video. Tell us a little bit about putting that together, Abigail. Do you remember? Or is it funny to look back? It's so old now.
It is. It's so cute. I watched it so many times and just looking at all of us. But it was really fun putting that together. Actually, well, I didn't, but like, it was fun filming it. None of us edited it, but just filming it and feeling like I was kind of doing something really cool. I was on camera, following a script. I don't know. I felt really cool. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we like had to beat Lunchables. In the video, we had to be like, no more Lunchables. And then I think Tony's was the one that made it into the video, but he was just like swinging a bat at it and like breaking it. It was pretty funny.
It is so fun. And, you know, it's interesting to see the progression too. We talk about, you know, Katie's parents made these moments, and here at the Healthy Parenting Connector, we like to talk about intentional parenting and making things matter. And at Kids Cook Real Food, connection, confidence, and creativity are our C's. And so, you know, you guys have done so much building with confidence, as far as like the parents helped a lot with the proposal, did a lot of the legwork. And now here at the other end, 3 years later, you all are doing a ton of the legwork and promoting. You've done, I can't even keep track, almost 10 interviews now, and learning graphic design, learning video editing, making, you know, bonuses for people, which, by the way, go to kidscookrealfood.com/Chef Junior for those, because the kids did work really hard on them. But I feel like you just had more and more responsibility, which is awesome. Do you feel, Tony, that you've learned like life skills or skills that will help you in a career through this whole process?
Yeah, doing the cookbook, I definitely learned how to like network with people and get along better and not get your ego in the way. And then writing, I think some of that definitely helped me. Yeah, communicating and just like hitting deadlines and being a person that actually achieves stuff. I think that was really important and something that's going to be really helpful throughout my life.
I love that. And you all had experience writing recipes, which is one skill, and then you each wrote a chapter in, you know, paragraphs, and that's another complete other skill, and all these email communications. I love at Kids Cook Real Food, we love encouraging creativity. So maybe Abigail can tell us like that first moment 4 years ago when you started cooking breakfast and snacks, and you were very creative. How'd that go right at first? Did any of those recipes make it in the book?
Not very many of them. The way that I decided on the recipes, because I didn't really know where to start. So I just tried to come up with really fun names for them. And I don't remember any of the names anymore, but they were pretty creative, and they were rhyming, or they started with the same letter or whatever. And I worked with that. And then I just basically, I didn't really know how to make a recipe. So I didn't really start with any sort of a base, like take kind of like a recipe that I want and then change it up. I didn't do that. I just sort of was like, I'm going to make some cookies. And so then I like made some cookies with just like measuring ingredients and being like, it's fine, you know?
Did you have a lot of failures starting from your head?
Yeah.
Especially baking. That's really hard. I love this. So Abigail is very much a creative writer. It's so interesting that she started with the words. Paul, tell us about when you all were together, because we're never together anymore, but when you all were together trying to make up recipes, what did y'all do?
Well, yeah, in the first breakfast, we were trying to think of something that the parents would all like, and of course it's coffee. All parents love coffee, of course. So and chocolate as well. So we used coffee grounds, which are not supposed to be eaten, and we put them in pancakes, and we mixed them with melted chocolate to make coffee chocolate. And I believe there might have been something, and no, none of those recipes made it into the book.
But we were planning on them. We put them on paper and we took them home so that we could put them in the book. That was how confident we were in those recipes.
I love that. See, I never knew that. So at the beginning, like, I just thought it was a pipe dream. I thought we were just chatting and it was funny. And you all had a little bit of spark of belief there that this was going to be real.
Yeah.
Which I love. I love that. Well done, guys. So Chef Junior, right here, 100 healthy recipes, cookbook written by kids for kids, these amazing kids. You got to get your copy. Buy lots of copies. Give them away to all your friends, nieces, nephews, grandkids, Girl Scout troops, teachers, whoever. I feel like all teachers should have this book too, just so that they can remember, wow, kids can set real goals, big dreams, and achieve them, and, you know, like, infuse some of that into their classroom. Because in this classroom of life, this classroom of book publishing, you all have learned so much. I'm honored to have one that I get to keep. I feel like you all are my kids. I'm like so proud of you. Thank you guys for being here today.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you.
And guys, I'll see you back next week for another episode of the Healthy Parenting Connector. There won't be this many guests, and they won't be as sweet and awesome. Well, they will be as awesome, but not quite as sweet. But I'm honored to be able to interview four of the five authors of Chef Junior. I'm Katie Kimball for the Healthy Parenting Connector.